Dreams have long been a source of intrigue and mystery to humankind since the beginning of time. The book Dreams and Dreaming by George Constable states that sleep learning was first the stuff of science fiction. However, it is now scientifically documented that sleep learning is a reality. Today, I'm here to present in front of you the possibility of unexplored potential of our child's abilities through sleep learning. Those among us who grew up with the popular cartoon Dexter's Laboratory might remember the famous episode, The Big Cheese, when Dexter listens to a French recording overnight to learn said language. This consequentially gets stuck on repeat on this phrase, and the next day all he can say is omelette du fromage. The idea that we can learn in our sleep has captivated the minds of artists and scientists alike. The possibility that one day we could all drastically improve our productivity by learning in our sleep is a reality. But can we also help our children learn about good behaviors, values, and beliefs? Enriching beliefs was a huge question for me. We all know children's brain transforms subconsciously learned material into active knowledge while they sleep. Sleep is known to be a crucial for learning and memory formation. But is it also true that children can learn good behaviors, enriching values and beliefs? I didn't quite know. Being a parent and a parenting coach, I'm always looking for approaches to address any child's wrong behavior without yelling or shouting at your offspring. So today I want to emphasize on two very unique aspects of parenting. The first one is an idea which I'm going to share. It is and also an inspiration to encourage the second point. And the second point is it is a very contentious topic which emphasizes that yelling at your child is a form of violence. Let me share with you two very different experiences that I had. So my daughter would go to the park with her friend and she would always demand that they played according to her will. She would not listen to her or anybody for that matter at all. So we are a family of 5 and we all just assume that my kid is a rebel. And then my mother-in-law would tell her to come inside because she would start throwing tantrums right in the middle of the park. So my mother-in-law would narrate the story to me and I would just start yelling at my kid for not behaving. Yes, I expected my kid to understand others. I would yell at her for such a silly thing, but the notion behind it was, how can you not understand other person's perspective? I was expecting this out of my 4-year-old kid. Trust me, I tried everything to address her behavior. I would shout, I would yell, threaten and bribe her, but nothing seemed to be working. Many days the same incident occurred. I was determined to find a solution for this. As it really started to catch attention of public, people would just comment that she's so adamant and then that she does not listen to anybody, etc., etc. So I started researching a lot and I found a research which was taken place by a famous psychologist named Jean Piaget, who studied children's cognitive growth. He argued that the kids at 2 to 7 years of age are at pre-operational stage, wherein they cannot understand adult logic or mentally manipulate information. Children's logic is based on their own personal knowledge of the world so far, rather than the conventional knowledge. Children at this stage display egocentrism, which means the child is not able to take the perspective of others. A child at this stage thinks that everyone sees, thinks, and feels the way they do. So, let me now explain what happens in the brain. The part of the brain which is responsible for complex cognitive behavior like judgment, planning, problem solving, decision making, personality expression, and also moderating social behavior. is called prefrontal cortex. The PFC is the cerebral cortex covering the front part of the frontal lobe. It is also one of the last brain structures to develop in the course of evolution. Now, let me tell you a fact about this prefrontal cortex. You know what the purpose of this prefrontal cortex is now, right? So, the development and maturation of this PFC occurs primarily during adolescence, and it is fully accomplished at the age of 25 years. Isn't that a fascinating fact? Now, after knowing this information, I went to my kid and I apologized to my 4-year-old for imposing such great expectations from her. Although I was still not successful in addressing her behavior, I started to research a little more when I came across this University of Metaphysical Sciences and learned about sleep learning. So we have always known the fact or the power of our subconscious mind. We know the fact that our mind is 90% subconscious and only 10% conscious. So I decided to become Dexter for a few days, researching and trying to address my child's behavior. So I did it in following steps. Just before, when we were about to sleep, I would tell my child a story of a kid based on the behavior I wanted to address and the consequences the kid had to face in the story, right? Then I tried to inflict upon the story. Once the story was done, completed, I would try to inflict upon the story and would try to have an open discussion with my child about the situation in the park, and I would show her how it was not an acceptable behavior in a very calm and composed way. I would then play the same story at the night after she sleeps. To my surprise and shock, after only 5 days of following this protocol, my kid completely stopped demanding and started enjoying with her friend for her time in the garden. We now know the sleeping brain replays the day's experiences and stabilizes them by moving them from hippocampus, where they were first formed, to the regions across the brain. Given that so much is happening to memories during sleep, it's natural to ask if the memories can be altered, enhanced, or even formed anew. And I would say, or I believe that yes, we definitely can. I hope this video has really helped you understand what happens when we yell at our children. And I hope you guys try this method that I've implemented for my child. Now I just find an opportunity, where my child is going wrong, and I would grab that opportunity. I would, while sleeping in the night, I would have that conversation and I would try to address her behavior then, rather than yelling at her or shouting at her when she's really not in a mood to understand anything. I hope this video has really helped you, and I'm looking forward to your answers after you implement this method. Thank you.